tell us about the history of Square State and what's been going on.
Sure. Well, the site was actually started by a guy who blogs under the name Pacified. He's the guy that wrote the SoapBlock software that runs, I think it's up to 200 political sites across the country right now. So as he got more and more occupied with working for his paying customers for all these other sites, a couple of us took over the reins after a short period of time, and Aaron and I both became editors.
Earlier years, a lot of the political blogosphere was dominated by individuals writing blogs. The bathrobe basement days, and
Don't forget the Cheetos.
And the Cheetos, definitely.
Always the Cheetos.
And
Product placement right there.
and I had one of those independent blogs, and there were a number of other people. There was a gentleman who was running them in Colorado, Luis, who is still very prominent out there. Geraldine Merritt was working on her Talk Left. There were a lot of good blogs in Colorado run by individuals. What Square State really revolutionized was it started bringing people together in blog communities, and you saw that on some of the larger sites. There's dailycoast.com, which is one of the larger national sites. But on the state level blogs bringing together these individual bloggers into a place where they could start talking about the issues and moving forward a progressive conversation, that really started to have a real impact on what stories the traditional media was covering. And so when Pacified first asked me to come over to Square State, I thought that would be a great opportunity because I wouldn't have to be producing content every day. As it turns out, I'm producing content every day, but I get to do so in a community of great people who can, anybody can come on our site, anybody can come to squarestate.net.
Let me get a plug-in from my brother-in-law, Tomas Custer, who's with HispanicTips.com. He is going to be coming out, and he was actually interviewed by NPR on covering news, and his blog is devoted to covering Hispanic American news, but for people who are mostly English speakers.
The Big Tent is something that's being put together by the Alliance Center for Sustainable Colorado, I believe.
John Powers.
Thank you. Which is a just tremendous building that is fully LEED certified, and extremely energy friendly. And there's a whole bunch of different progressive organizations that work in that building, and they are taking their entire parking lot that is going to become this huge two-story structure, one level of which is going to be completely for the Netroots bloggers coming to town who are coming here to cover the convention and other goings-on, to hang out, to do their writing in there. We're going to have a live feed of the convention floor. Obviously, we need to eat, so it's going to be beer and pizza.
My two favorite.
Yes.
Or at least one of those.
And then the upper level is going to be this whole open meeting space that different organizations are going to be able to use during the day for symposiums, for meetings, for film screenings. In the evening, Living Liberally is going to be, or we are organizing what the space is going to be used for entertainment purposes. So we're working on a couple of concerts, some comedy performances, things like that. Yeah, and it's being supported by Google and Yahoo, and if I had the complete list of organizations, I would thank them. I'm actually somewhat involved in organizing some of this stuff, just because it's a great thing that
And
is
there'll
going
be
on.
bloggers from all over.
Yes.
All over, and it's going to be another one like Democrats Work and like Living Liberally. It's one of those opportunities for online values being translated into offline action.
I'm seeing that we've got a call from Donna in Boulder. Donna, welcome to Ultimate Politics. So the question is, are you guys getting any kind of a blowback or any threats from people that are saying, cease and desist or else?
Maybe that's going to be the next call.
I was writing about Tom Tancredo's campaign last cycle.
This is hilarious.
And a guy out there, Sylvester, Joe Sylvester. Let me say that name again, Joe Sylvester.
In which town in Michigan does he live?
Oh, he was in East Lansing, Michigan at the time, but he posting onto one of our sites saying that he was going to come out and, I won't use the profanity, but he was going to smash my insert adjective here, brains in with a ball-peen hammer. That goes for you, you anti-Tancredo bastards.
Wow.
And he did it with an account registered by his personal email that had his name in the email and was linked to his Blogger account with his photograph on there. And he was a young Republican out there in Michigan State.
Part of a group that is called by the Southern Poverty Law Center is considered a hate group.
Wow.
And yeah, he was making some threats and doing it across interstate lines and doing all sorts. He was breaking some laws there.
Breaking the law.
And so that got passed along to the appropriate people. I'm not sure what his intentions were on carrying that out or not. But he currently works as a Republican consultant to campaigns in Michigan. So whenever he's involved in a campaign, I always pass that information along to whoever is out there to stand against him. But yeah, we do get death threats.
Oh,
We do
Gunny Bob threatened us once.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
He after we've struck back at him a few times, he actually pretty much leaves us alone now.
Wow. Well, Donna, thanks for calling in. The surprising thing is that the major news markets,
The Dead Tree Media.
like CBS, CNN, I mean, they are the ones that, we're holding them accountable and saying, you guys are just totally blowing it on these stories. Take, for instance, I met Tom Vilsack's son, Doug Vilsack. He was out on the Western Slope. I was stumping for John Edwards. He was stumping for Hillary Clinton. And we got to talking. He's just now studying for the bar after graduating from CU Law School. And he went down to Ecuador and actually met this guy, Pablo Fajardo, who was awarded the CNN Heroes Award for his lawsuit against Chevron. And so CNN flew him up to New York. So it was a huge group of people, and they brought him on the show. They gave him an award. They put his stuff about his lawsuit against Chevron on their website, and then 2 days, literally 2 days, or maybe 3 after they got that story up, Chevron leans on CNN. CNN not only scrubs a story that they that was out there, but a story they made by giving this guy an award. So it's evidence of how, if we the people don't really come together and say, look, we're tired of this corporate news cycle which edits out, a third or more of the real news, and this is a perfect way to do it. So we're not just going against the right, we're going against misinformation.
The big problem is because of the profit-driven nature of corporate media, they have to cut back on staff. And they have to move from 20 people who can cover things down to 2 who have to cover everything. And they just don't have time to look into stories. So they have to start cutting and pasting from press releases. One of the great things about the internet is we have so many eyes, we have so many voices, and we have so many people who are legitimate experts, not people who have to get up to speed on something, but whoever happens to be up to speed on whatever the issue is. They can come and they can participate. I was in an interview with one, I won't say who, but generally fantastic media, and they were asking me a question that I usually get asked about accountability on the blogs.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave the answer I usually give, which is, if I say something wrong on the blog, somebody else can step up and correct me. That there's a low barrier to entry, that everybody who wants to have input on a story can, and they can point to original sources, they can point to where they get their information, and there's a lot more feedback and accountability that way. And then he asked me, well, with all of those opinions, how will people know what to think? And I was amazed that the traditional media sees its job as the organization to tell people what to think.
That's quite Orwellian, I would say. This is what you will think.
But without gatekeepers to information, won't all the information just run rampant? And, well, yes, it will. And that might be a very good thing.